Hi everybody, welcome back to Sherry Tries That, or welcome if you're new to the channel. I hope you enjoy the video and I hope that you will consider subscribing and watching every week. My hair is doing something really weird loopy here. To me it kind of looks like the Lululemon logo. Anyway, Easter is coming and so I wanted to try an Easter dessert. So today I'm going to try a cake that I've not made before. It's called an Easter poke cake. You make a white cake and you poke holes in it and put different flavors of Jello liquid into the cake. So when it's finished and you cut it open, it's got all these sort of Easter colors throughout it. It looks really pretty. It looks good. So come along with me as I try to make this Easter poke cake. Let's see how it turns out. I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I have prepared my 9 by 13 pan with nonstick cooking spray. And now I'm going to make the white cake. I am using a Betty Crocker Super Moist White Cake Mix. Video is not sponsored. White cake mix. Going to add 3/4 of a cup of water, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and 3 eggs, or if you prefer, 4 egg whites only. Tip that I say in every one of my baking videos that includes eggs is do the eggs one at a time into a separate dish before you add, in case one egg is bad. If you add the eggs directly in here and one is bad, you have ruined all of the ingredients. 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs. Now we're going to mix this on medium for 2 minutes. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can beat vigorously by hand for 2 minutes as well. Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Siri, pause timer.
Paused, with 1 minute and 25 seconds left.
I'm using the Irish accent on Siri for right now. Makes me happy. Siri, resume timer.
Resuming.
A few moments later.
Now we're going to pour it into the prepared pan. And now, based on this particular pan, it is to bake for 26 to 31 minutes. I think I will pop it in for 28 and check it at that point. And right on time, my oven's ready. Okay, the cake is out and on the serving platter, and now we are going to poke the holes in it. The recipe suggests that you use the handle of a wooden spoon. I can't stand wooden spoons, so I'm going to just use the end of an electric beater. And you put your holes in about 1 inch apart. I don't want to go through the cake at the bottom, so I measured, and the goes to about that little nib there. Now, why can I not stand wooden spoons? I'm not really sure. I feel like they make my palm itch. I just don't like the feel of them. I really can't explain it any further than that. I think I've felt that way almost all my life. I don't know what caused it, what brought it on. It's just one of my quirks. I used to work with someone who, sat kind of very close to me in a cubicle, and I always used to crack my knuckles, and she couldn't stand that. So I guess one day I'd been cracking them, enough that it kind of bothered her. And the next day when I came to work, there was a wooden spoon lying across my keyboard. She had brought it in, got there before me, put it there to bother me. So, message received, I will not crack my knuckles when you're around. I'm sorry. Get this wooden spoon off my keyboard. Anyway, that's why you won't find any wooden spoons in my home. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to mention now is that the recipe calls for 2 Jell-O flavors. It calls for lime and then whatever other flavor you want to add. I decided that I would like to do 3 flavors. I think it will be more colorful, prettier. Wow, look at that line. I cannot do a straight line to save my life. Anyway, I decided to do 3 flavors. So I will have some Jell-O mixture left over because if 2 packages would cover the cake, then 3 would be too much. So that's fine. I will eat Jell-O for dessert for a while. No problem with that. I did keep the lime, and I wanted sort of Easter colors. So lemon for the yellow, and originally I was going to do strawberry because that was one of the flavors that they had suggested, but I would want it to be pink, not red, and I'm quite sure that strawberry Jell-O comes out looking red, not pink. So when I looked through my pantry, I had some Starburst blue raspberry, and it looks very turquoise on the package. So that's the one that I'm going to use. These are the Jell-O flavors that I'm using. Lime, Starburst sugar-free blue raspberry, and lemon. Okay, so we've got our holes poked. There's quite a few of them. And you want to put the different colors or flavors of gelatin in different places so that you get kind of a marbled effect. I was originally going to do them up in glass bowls, but then when I thought about the pouring, I thought that's going to get awkward and messy and probably not work. So I happen to have 3 pouring Pyrex cups, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to mix them in those. My water's ready. So you put 1 cup of boiling water mixed with each packet of Jello. Bless you. Now we're going to stir them up, get all that gelatin powder dissolved in the boiling water. Isn't that a beautiful color? I don't know if the color will read right on the camera, but it is a turquoise, kind of a deep turquoise, not teal, but so I'm quite excited about that because it's one of my favorite colors. Here's our lime. Sophie. And the lemon. Very pretty yellow color. It's not dissolved yet. Okay, now you want to work kind of quickly. It's starting to thicken already, so you know what? I wish I hadn't put it on the serving tray yet. I think it's going to get messy. I'm going to put this back in the pan. And it just split in half. Ah! All right. Put some yellow in there and in there. This isn't working quite as precisely as I had envisioned it. This might end up just being a great old big mess. I don't think I got any yellow over here. Whoa! And I really don't want to put the same or more than one color down the same holes, because then they might just mix and be a weird color or like a gray. Yeah, this isn't working quite as I had pictured. this might go horribly, horribly wrong. And I'm not going to know until it's set. And we cut it open. I think some has been put in all the holes. Whether enough has been put in a hole, I'm not sure. Now I'm thinking a better way to do this would have been like a syringe without a needle, but a syringe maybe. Oh dear. I know, Soph. I think you're right. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Okay, well, now we cover it and put it in the fridge to set for at least 2 hours. Okay, it's the next day, so I let the cake set up overnight to let the jello set inside the cake. I'm a little concerned because the cake did crack in two, and it's now very moist, and I have to get it back out of the pan and onto the dish. The cake is not moist, it is wet. When I try to pick it up, the whole thing is going to fall apart.
Oh no!
I may have to finish breaking it in two and take it out in sections. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to sort of cut it in half. Oh, I don't think you can see it on camera, but it's crumbling on the end. This cake may not make it into work tomorrow. Now that piece came out perfectly fine. Okay, I'll show you. So here's what's happening to that end. But this piece is quite intact. I'm going to get the crumbs off of there. So I'm thinking maybe I put too much Jello in. I know that I used 3 instead of 2, but I didn't use all the Jello. But I wasn't really paying attention to how much Jello total was supposed to go to the cake versus how much went into the cake. So if I were to make this again, I would pay a little more attention to that. I can't I just don't think that the cake is supposed to be quite this wet. Anyway, we will continue on. I'm just trying to get as many of the crumbs off the top as I can before we put on the toppings. Now I'm using a dessert topping, frozen dessert topping. So we are going to spread this on top of the cake. I thought that maybe I was supposed to let this thaw, but the instructions certainly don't indicate that. So I'm going to try to spread this. Tell you what, I'm going to prepare the coconut first, just to give that a few minutes to thaw a tiny bit. So we've taken some coconut and put some in each bowl. Again, I have not paid attention to how much there was supposed to be total. I'm going to add a little bit more to the bowls. I had a little bit more and then I took some away and now I'm going to put it back again. I'd rather have a little too much than not quite enough. I will include the recipe in the description of the video, and if there is a specific amount for the coconut, that will be in there. Now I got pastel food coloring, which was not easy to find and it was quite expensive. For 4 of these, it was $12.85 plus tax. When I picked up the box, I didn't see the one and I thought it was $2.85, which I should have realized would have been very, very cheap. But I was kind of surprised when the total came up at the cash register. But I bought them anyway. And this coconut part, of course, is optional. Not everybody likes coconut. My dad doesn't like the texture of coconut. I hate it when these are so hard to open. I'm just going to open a tiny little bit. See if... So, in this package, there was peach, cornflower blue, moss green, and rose petal pink. Don't want the peach. The green is probably darker than I wanted, but that's okay. But I wonder if these are gel. It's not coming out like a liquid. It's getting all over my scissors, though. I think these are gel. I've never actually had gel before. Oh my God, I cut my finger! It's just the gel. I don't actually know if gel will work with this. This really isn't going to work. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to use this. I read the instructions. You have to mix this into icing. I have other food coloring, but they're not going to be pastel. This saddens me. I will use yellow and green and blue. Those are the same three colors that I used for the Jello. So again, they're not pastel, and I'm sad about that, but we'll have to make it work. I've put 3, maybe 4 drops of food coloring. Okay, let's go back to our cake and try to get some of this. Oh, that's better. So now I'm wondering, if I'm going to take it into work tomorrow, I'll put it in the fridge overnight, but will all of this whipped topping melt too much? Like, you want it firm but not runny, like soft. You want it soft but not runny. You want it firm but not frozen. So there's a piece that's a little more frozen, and when I try to spread it, it's picking the cake up with it. So like, this is a delicate balance, and maybe you can get it for spreading, but what about keeping the cake? If you're serving this at home, do you have to do this part just before serving the cake? And what do you do with leftovers? If anyone has answers to these questions, please leave them in the comments. Help educate me and anybody else that maybe is unsure of the answer to these questions. Now, you can stop there, of course, if you want. You can get pastel sprinkles and put them on top. You could get little chocolate eggs or those little candy coated eggs and put them on, whatever you want. I chose to get some jelly beans. Um, they were kind of front and center when I went into the bulk food store, and they were on sale. So, and I thought this would be pretty. So this is what I got to top my cake. Now I'm going to have to cut into it to try a piece. Okay, so instead of cutting a square out of the cake, I cut off the one end, thinking that I cut off the one end that was kind of caving in. And this is what it looks like. So you can see the green jello and you can see the blue berry jello. What I can't see is the lemon jello. So I'm not sure if I just didn't get any lemon down at that end or if you just can't really see it. It kind of makes me wish that I had gone ahead with the strawberry red jello. It probably wouldn't have been as vibrant red as I thought. Anyway, we're going to try a piece now. Oh, that's good. It tastes very light, almost refreshing. I think because of the jello flavors in it. And it's not a heavy icing, it's the, I don't want to call it Cool Whip. It's the whipped topping. So it's not as heavy as an icing. And it's still kind of cold, which makes it refreshing. I like coconut, so I like the coconut on top. That's good. Another thought that I have is that because the cake is light and refreshing, I'm not sure I would want to come across a hard, chewy jelly bean. And I don't think that chocolate eggs on top now would be all that great. I think I would keep it light. So I think I would look for pastel sprinkles. If I were going to make this again, that's what I think I would want to put on top, are pastel sprinkles, just to keep it light and airy. I think something more would just make it too heavy and sort of conflict with the texture and flavor and feeling of the cake. Do I sound like I watch the Food Network? Anyway, just a thought. It's, like I said, it's light, it's not heavy, it tastes sort of cool and refreshing. It's got different flavors that go well together. I'm quite happy with it. So, a couple of things that I would do differently next time is I would fill the holes up a little differently, I think. Instead of ending up pouring it all over the cake, I would maybe make a greater effort to just get in the holes. Now, I kind of like my idea of the syringe. The other thing is you could make the holes a little bigger, and if you have a small funnel, and I do have some very small funnels, maybe doing it that way. I like my syringe idea the best, actually. Fill up a syringe with one of the jellos, put it in, the hole and inject it and, kind of move around and then fill it up with a different one. That's really the only thing that I would maybe do differently. And then the cake wouldn't be quite so wet when you're trying to get it out of the pan and onto your serving plate. Um, but I do still have the questions about the whipped topping. So now I'm going to put this back in the fridge to take to work tomorrow. And I'm just afraid that all of that topping is going to just melt and slide off the sides and everything. But if I put it in the freezer, it's going to freeze the cake as well. So I'm not quite sure what to do about that. So if you do have suggestions, please leave them in the comments. It would help me, but it might help others that maybe have the same question. So you'll have to let me know if you think this is a recipe that you might try. Easter is just a week away, and I know lots of people are going to be making Easter desserts, so tell me if this is something you would consider. Thank you so much for coming along with me today on Sherry Tries That, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Oops. I think that's going to stay red for quite a while. Bye.